Hello, hello. Trying out this recording feature on the editing app I'm using. If any of you know how you can do both video and voice recording at the same time, and it's not like the camera app, or if there's just whatever, there's a way to do both of them, let me know what I can do on an iPad. But if not, just have to go with the flow with this. But yeah, there's a lot of exciting things that are happening for Twisted Wonderland for both the Japanese and English servers. And for many of you that do know with the spoilers, or like with some of the features of the Over Black Boys songs and just a bunch of other stuff that's happening, please follow the guidelines that Japan servers had enforced. Want to be respectful with the community of and culture of gaming for both English and Japanese. Got Floyd introduced. Juicing us, or saying hello to us. He's just unhinged. And our lazy lion. Barf. Slacking off has never hurt me. Yeah, never hurt you. Yeah, just doing daily lessons. But yeah, just with our anything that's leaking or like data mining, many people don't like that. I know that happened with Nintendo in the past with some data miners, and they got in trouble. So be respectful with that, and just anything that you have that you may have had with intention of sharing, do schedule that in after August so that there is time for everything that is to be like spoilers wouldn't be so much of a spoiler at that time. But like with stuff that's coming up and like with updates that we had on English is with the lessons to go 2 times faster than normal. Ian will probably enjoy that if a game like this where he can challenge himself to do like speedrun challenges. But yeah, that probably helps a bit if you have like more like restricted time with the game or wanting to do something else with it, like with the special lessons at least. I did a test run to see like how they normally are, and like they're about 30 seconds like within what's the actual lesson time of going through that, and then going to the rewards menu or like rewards pop up. But with it going 2 times faster, that's cut down in half, so it's about 15 seconds. Maybe another second or two with the actual rewards, but just going through the whole lesson normally is 30 seconds, but then doing the 2 times fast, it cuts in half. That can help a lot when you want to do some grinding for events. And guest room. Someone fighting. The Zoom sitters that I have as guests from the key. And of course is a deuce duo. Ace and deuce. Yeah, those two honestly are just the most troublesome of freshmen. I bet they do a lot of fighting at Hearts Label, or probably a lot more than they should have, and just try to keep it under Riddle's nose, because then otherwise he would have their heads as House Warden. They'll be chained up from his signature spell a lot more than usual. Yeah, there's also just kind of nice to have like guests invited as well, just only for a certain like for a few hours, where it's Hearts they already have and you want to try to increase their friendship level. But with a lot of them, when they're already at a high level, sometimes you have to grind for those stickers or like with those specific gifts that help. Those and the recent birthday ones for the platinum jackets has helped a lot, where it like increases the level pretty high. Like if a person that you have that's already like at a level 4 or 5, that increases it like up into a level 11. By getting to those high levels where the highest of friendship level, depending on the card, is 15 to 20, you need to have a lot saved over. Like you have to invite them over a lot, where if you wanted to be like the highest level, you have to invite them every day, and do like gifts every so often with stickers and items that are specific to the character. But sometimes if you're just more casual, it just kind of takes a while as a casual player to do that. But sometimes you just want to yeah. And I'm just right here with one of the exam fights. Yeah, especially with today being as the last day of this section of exams. July 4th, 4th of July. Happy 4th of July to everyone. And if any of you celebrate 4th of July, just enjoy the holiday.
Well done. やるじゃないか。何をお求め？こうちゃん。
Yeah. Just always look through the shop and like even there's times with doing stuff with events with stuff that you have. Kind of nice to see that it's there until it's no longer there.
Hey,
and yeah, with the Awakening Perfumes, it's been a long time as like a player that's been going through this, especially with some of you that know with the main story, that there's the Awakening Perfume backgrounds. There's like some places within the main story that you go, like there's some of the dorm areas. And like you would also get like the event ones, like specifically like that's within specific areas of the event. But with all that being synced up now, and only other times is the birthday boys with their rooms. And I don't know if they have like something that's new with the Japanese server with the birthday event that they're doing now, the loungewear, like their PJs, if they have a different background, or if it's just the card and you don't get like backgrounds in the shop. But with the main story event, that with how much closer we are with conclusion to book 7, there's definitely going to be a lot of locations, or a few places that we'll get as new backgrounds within the dreams that we go through, and some of the actual main story, like, I don't want to do like too much spoilers, but like within like the end of the Japanese server of it, that doing something in Briar Valley, and there'll be that background. It'd be kind of cool with characters, or like with your Disamiya characters in the Briar Valley background with like the lullaby song that's based on Once Upon a Dream. And yeah, just music with Twisted Wonderland is pretty cool. And like right here with the zooms. Zooms. It's pretty cool with how it's like zoomed-ified, and how it's like still tied in with Twisted Wonderland of just that world of like what music is with that, but it has its own twist of incorporating the zooms in it. And yeah, just filters right here do help, but like gotta figure out how that works sometimes, because sometimes there's that with that being the main story or events. You just have to work that out so then you know what specific song it is, instead of just doing no filters and have to scroll down what seems like forever. This helps narrow it down. But yeah, like with songs, pretty excited with what the Overblock Boys songs are, and that be interesting of what the songs will be about, because I think I know with some stuff where some people may have already looked into some interpretation of it with what they can understand with translations, that it's how like they view themselves, or like with how that brought them to their overblot. Like something with Leona, I think with translation is that like with his attitude, like his pride and arrogance is a shield from his vulnerability, that if with a lot of us know from the main story of how he acts, and with his overblot in book 2, and looking a little bit more just kind of seeing a bit of his character with the recent part 11 of chapter 7, of just like how deep it is with him, or like how deep of a character he is. But yeah, that is very interesting that we have already, like, we're just very close, that start of July we had like part 11, and like now, like within, like getting closer, like within mid-July or like late July is getting closer and closer, but like part 12 volume 1. And I think with how I know from some of the Japanese one that they kind of did something similar with that, just like breaking a few volumes of that for the Hearts Label boys, because they were the first ones, like the first storm we actually were introduced in the main story of book 1, like after the prologue. So wanting to go through them kind of individually, or just kind of breaking them into smaller parts before concluding the story, and then soon we probably would have our update of chapter book 7.5, which I think that if there is to be book 8, it's just going to be a long ways away with what we know from like the just part of the prologue from the very beginning, which if probably would look back to see what that is, just so then we can have a recap. But I think with it why they're planning of it being 7.5 is because around that time it would be like summer, closer to summer break, actual summer break for them. And that's like around the time when there's like the Spell Drive tournament with Royal Sword Academy. So like they probably want to do something like that. That's why they have that, because around that time is when it's close to summertime, where it's like the final exams for the term in the school year. Then there's like the Spell Drive tournament with the rival school, and like hoping that they can win this when it's like the 100th year against that school of their rivals. That's the Disney princesses, equivalent to them as the villains. And then also, like, knowing that with just kind of going throughout that they would actually age up, and that us as the character, like NC or YU, Grim, and like the other first years would actually go to the next school year, depending on how that direction is going. If our main character doesn't go home or like would stay and like actually go to the next school year as a sophomore, like a second year at Night Raven College. It'd be very interesting to see that we would actually be there like for a whole year in the game timeline, like in-game timeline, and then would like go and be part of the next school year, depending on how that's going to be played, and like with what is possibly book 8 from that opening battle. But it'll be very interesting, just to see with how many people with a lot of their theories from the very beginning of the story, and like with where they were so far with what was updated before like book 7, around that time, of what is true, or like what could be close to what was interpreted as fan theories. The famous or like infamous one that probably is Malice's father, Thinker's being is like how it really is what you would say, or close to it at least, how you try to pronounce it that he's actually his father. And a lot of people be like, what? Seriously? That sound excuse of a bard is Malice's father? Probably makes some sense, but honestly. But yeah, like, just wondering if some of those theories would actually turn out to be true, and that it comes years later. It wouldn't be the first time when there's like some things with media that were predicted and then it came true. Or like sometimes within the world of media, or like how they can actually be predicted like years later, like within close to the time of actual real life, like how they do with The Simpsons and Family Guy. Like there's times where it's like really crazy that there's those predictions. And it's nice that with these main story, like new SSR cards are featured, like with ones from previous, like with Orthos, Cerberus, Armor, and with Kaleem and Rooks from the main story that they came back. Because we couldn't get a chance to do that during their story. They're part of the story, but now can get them back during this, like, window. And there's those times when you get cards that you already have, like, as a repeat. Gacha luck is just not cool, or like, sometimes it's just like really low. There are times that you have those cards that you really want, but like of an event, or like with a main story, or just a general card, if it's like a high level one, that, but then you get a repeat of like that character or a completely different character as for that poll. And there are times when you want a specific card within an event, but you get a different card, and you're like, okay, it's not what I wanted, but it's like within the event and it's kind of cool, but still want to have a chance with that. Like, I've had that experience with the Stitch Tropical Turbulence, that I wanted to get wanted to get Lilia's card, but I got Floyd instead. I had the single summon keys like saved up for that event, and like the very first key that I used, greatest of luck that I got Floyd, and tried to summon Lilia like in time of the event. Didn't get him, but still kind of cool that I got Floyd, because there is him and Lilia that have like Stitch featured on their cards and like their avatars when you log in onto the main menu. But yeah, Oh yeah, with the cloud calling of the savannah.
話にならない。
Got Leona in that event. I got the other ones and like didn't get Deuce with what he was featured as like the encore character, like what they did with Jamil in the Harveston encore. But pretty awesome that I got Leona with that one. Pretty much with what that actual main event, like, or just like that event's like main story of that, of the main characters, and not the extra characters they added just in for that time. Awesome that I pretty much finished up that, filled up the roster for that. And yeah, just like with the encore events, it's kind of cool to see like if you weren't there for the original, but like you were able to catch up with the encore to kind of do that, and sometimes there might be some changes to it and you get to see what a difference is, what that one is, and you wouldn't expect it to be different from the original. But kind of cool sometimes with right here where you get a chance to go onto the original and then you get the encore event, such as like I experienced. I've already done the cloud calling and the Stitch Tropical Turbulence from last year, and then got to experience it again this year during the summer as an encore event. Oh yeah, which right here, like the 2 times for special lessons, but it was also in the normal and the daily lessons, but with the special lessons to kind of see them like going faster than normal. And yeah, I timed this before a while ago, which I think I mentioned that, or I haven't, but at least right now that normal lesson, when it's not like right here the menu of the rewards, is about 30 seconds. But with it going 2 times faster, it cuts it in half, so it's only like 15 seconds per lesson.
楽しい時間。
おとなしくしていろ。
誰がいようと関係ない。少し集中するか。誰がいようと関係ない。学園長、何しに来た。
カリム、おとなしくしていろ。手を挙げるなら今だ。
この辺で終わりです。
It's also cool to see with our characters that like switching out like with their with what their event outfits are just like a specific different one, like with their PE outfits or their lab coat ones in the special event, special lessons. Get to see them like animate within like normally, but like have those outfits on. And you do that as well with the other lessons. Just to kind of see how they act out differently. Because I know with the flight lessons, depending on the sprite, sometimes they would have their brooms with them and other times they don't. But they would still do something, but they just wouldn't fly onto the broom because I think that they don't have like the specific animations for that. So it's still kind of cool to see how they act differently with outfits and like how they would interact with the lesson.
課題はやってきま。
手を挙げるなら今だ。
Mostly they would still just have like the shared lines. But it's just that seeing how their outfits are different and like how they would still react the same way, but just I guess like at the same but not at the same within that. I guess you know, you get what I mean, where they would still do like the normal routine of like with their lines, but like depending on the outfit, they would be on the broom or not, but they would still have their lines that were assigned to them. That's what it is, assigned. Yeah, the lines assigned to them. And like how their animations react differently depending on that outfit. But then it's like just when we're at the special card where it's the SSR and you just have it default as PE, they would just interact normally. But if you switch it out, then they wouldn't be on a broom. sometimes depending on
気
that,
づき
because
の多い時間だ
I
っ
know that
た
with Lilia's
日々勉強だ
General Lilia von Rouge's SSR
課題はや
card,
ってきま
his general guard,
階段
that
は
he has a
大
broom.
きく
今のは
Yet
試験に出るぞ
with a SSS
学園
card
長
like
何しに来た
Riddle, he wouldn't have a broom, but he would still have voice lines to interact
授
with the
業内容
lesson.
簡単すぎました
Very interesting.
気づきの多い時間だった日々勉強だな
And cool thing that when there's the birthday bloom boys
課題
with
はやってきま
them in their wizard, kind of the birthday wizard garden, like having their
何しに来た少
birthday
し集中する
flower bouquets on a broom, that
回答
they would still do the
大
animation
きく
because
指
that
を
is a
動かしては
broom
いけないよ
um,
学園長
as like their
何か
card weapon,
意外と集中
but
し
it's also technically a broom in what is the flight lesson, so they would still interact
次もこ
normally
の調子だと助かるんだ
as like their normal animations with the PE uniform default, or like just the PE outfit card. Yeah, sometimes it's nice to go back to some of the twist tunes because those are really fun to do. There's always a way with how they would still incorporate elements of having the twist tune to be with the event, and like how it is like with the specific characters or just like whatever franchise of Disney it is, such as right here with Stitch's Tropical Turbulence, that the first twist tune is like with surfing, and that's known from Lilo and Stitch, surfing in Hawaii. Sorry if like my voice is a bit weird, and I'm taking some water, but I do like to talk a lot and fast, so I might try to slow down a bit so I won't be taking as much water and I'm not so out of breath. The easy and normal ones are pretty good, but the hard ones, they are hard, but once you get the hang of it and like you do get yourself within the rhythm of it, it does help, especially with the twist tune side quests that you do, where like with the hard one where it's pretty hard to get like the great combo and like reaching the SS level of doing the rhythm game. Takes trial and error, and sometimes even doing the great combos with the other ones. Sometimes surprisingly easy, where like the one that's supposed to be the easy setting can be just kind of take you a double take, like, what? I thought I got that pretty good, but it takes time. I don't know if, well, Stitch is one of my favorite characters, or I guess just one of my most favorite characters. It's just like with him being as a chaotic creature. And with Stitch, like with the live action stuff, I did see that and it was okay, but just not as much as would be the original, and I would kind of get why there's some of the live action movies that they try to do just another way of storytelling, but sometimes the way that it's just sometimes with how it's written out, or like sometimes it's stories that's already familiar with how they do it, is just sometimes it just does not speak well to the audience. And yeah, like it would kind of not do quite well with an audience scene. And like sometimes if they can do some good money or not good money, it's usually with those that are like the audience and the critics that would do ranking for it. And sometimes with a lot of the recent live action movies, especially the Snow White one, with how bad that one was. I'll be back.
俺様遊びまくるんだぞ。おめでとう。
楽しんでいるようだな。
めでたいの。おめでとう。ザース。素敵な時間だね。トレビアン。
いい笑顔だな。面白い。
おめでとう。
おめでとう。
盛り上がってるみてえだな。
一緒に楽しみましょう。
おめでとう。
おめでとう。
踊ろうよ。楽しんだぞ。
楽しんでいるようだ。
一緒に写真撮ろうよ。
ハッピーアニバーサリー。
The anniversary twist tunes are very interesting. And like right here with the third one. But like with ones that are already out, English has to wait. So I know there's the one with Grin that I saw from like the 2.5, like the 2.5 anniversary. Last year. So it's just showing that as like the 4th year anniversary of the that he has a check offer for the whole year. It's very cute and making some of the food to be the shape of the tuna third event with the rest of our roster of boys. Didn't get a chance with the first one because he never knew Twisted Wonderland up until last year. And got a chance with on the second event, but never got the chance with the first one. And limited time offered some to like events. If you guys hear any other like noise that's like in the background, sorry about that part. I was moving around and doing stuff, but I hope it doesn't bother you that much. It took me a while with the Glorious Masquerade twist tunes, especially with the second one where it's with the boys singing at the ball with doing a great combo for normal. That took a long time, but once I finally got that, I was excited that I was done with it. Well, like Twisted Wonderland, with the Bell of Solace ring, Encore was one that I experienced. Didn't do the original, but I might try to do that. But speaking of encores, or just events in general, it's nice with the event flashbacks that like, oh sweet, I know that there was like these events that were like from the game before, and never got the chance to play them because I was only invested and like started the game last year. Got this chance from later in the year from 2020, but seeing that I had to use gems to spend on it, like, well, we'll still do so and just have to grind for time and like, it seems like an event that can try out, then we can do it. So yeah, right here at the Spectacle Soiree, which you saw with no audio at all, happened from some of my last videos. But yeah, right now we're following Look, Sebek, and Trey, where they are. And it was very interesting kind of going through with, first time with this, with the video recording, before doing this audio one, that, how there's just like interacting right here in the spectral realm, that is the realm of the dead. And it will come up like, probably a little bit later in this chapter, or I think in the next one, of how there's like so much of the lore of Mr. Wonderland that's tied in with everything that's Disney, that there is a mention right here with Disney attractions, or like something that's with the Disney parks. Oh, Sebek. Our crocky boy who's very so loud and proud, but has just problems with himself as a half fae, half human. Of course, well, I guess maybe a lot of them would have an idea with the signs that are there, like besides with what Rick would describe in a few moments. Still, a lot of them would pick up with what the signs would be of what the spectral realm is, knowing that they would learn a lot of stuff of just Wonderland, and with how everything that is key of the magical properties of their world, they would know where they would be, or have an idea. To the boss. Almost. There's like still the ghosts that they would interact at school that are like the other staff members, like the cafeteria chefs and cooks. But there's to be these ghosts that they don't normally see, like those that are here in the spectral realm. Yeah, there's also a lot of interesting stuff with how some things are like kind of pick up on some inspiration of Yamatoboso's work on Black Butler, such as like Heartslave's as an undertaker
分かっ
承知した
would be like a nod
た贈り物を授ける元気がないな
but yeah, that's probably a lot of you would know that
マレウスに稽古をつけ
formerly
て
the Grim Reaper.
お手並み拝見といこうかクリアし
話にならん出直してこい
But yeah, it's just a lot of things, and just I believe that I kind of like saw some things and like with how very similar a lot of the characters, like at least like the design of Duke and Riddle, how very similar they look to some of Black Butler characters like Ciel and Sebastian. Oh yeah, and also Jade as well. And then when I learned that Yamatoboso was part of developing the game, and I knew her from being like the creator of Black Butler, I'm like, oh wow, that's why they're so similar to that. I'm like, wow, there's like a lot of similar elements of design and just like with character element design, and why that seems like so familiar and very cool with how there's like some of the stuff where you already know with Black Butler that probably wouldn't be like as much as like in your face with Twisted Wonderland, but some stuff that would be like a little bit of Yamatoboso's storytelling. I think just in general with what the storytelling is right here is very interesting. Look, you're singing! Trey and Tibet are surprised, but Trey wouldn't be so surprised. Which, yeah, he mentions here that it's not surprising because they share the science, they're both in the science club, and he probably does that often. But then, yeah, with them like breaking down song for no reason, yeah, as if that has never happened before in somewhere on where these stories Twisted Wonderland inspired on. Yeah, they're catching up. Rebecca's singing along as well. But yeah, he mentions right here that he recognizes that from a play that they had with the writings of the spectral realm when he was a kid, but a bit spooked when he was young, which I guess with a lot of things with stuff right there, it can spook a kid. known only as a true enthusiast. So, crocodile. Okay, so you know it. Yeah, he saw it as a kid playing in his father's hometown with his human dad. Playing at that time. Yeah, the big bad song really scared him. To the spectral realm. Wonder if there's like a little bit of a nod with Tim Burton's Corpse Bride, which I don't know if like Corpse Bride is like one that's Disney, like The Nightmare Before Christmas, but it just kind of reminds me of that, where mentioning that like trying to find a way out of the living of the dead to return to the living. But I think right here they'll be mentioned soon. Yeah, right here, the 999 Ghosts. That's like a nod to the Disney parks, like Disneyland's Haunted Mansion. Because there's the 999 happy haunts who live there. And they have room for one more. Oh, whoa, like 999 corpse. Which, yeah, that was each of the individual ghosts. But yeah, like going through the mansion. It was the thousands that never returned. Right here it was number 13. Oh! Just realized. Yeah, 13 is like an unlucky number, and like living with Halloween. Friday the 13th. Yeah, that's also kind of like cool with how there's like just how there's always the supernatural, like the superstition of the supernatural and like other stuff that's with luck, with numbers. Like some old buildings in America don't have a 13th floor because of the superstition of the number, and it's like labeled as 14. They do something like that similar to like some buildings like in Asia, because like, they have the belief of number 4 as an unlucky number. So definitely shown on a sitcom, Fresh Off the Boat, with a Chinese family, just like an Asian family that was like living in the U.S., a different state, and moved to another one, and no matter like what it is with the household, that the mother like bans number 4s, because with the Chinese belief of 4 is bad luck, and pronounced like usually in general with Asian culture, that his words some similar pronunciation with the number 4 is also very similar to another word that means in English like bad fortune or like death. I know that with Japan, there's 2 different words for the number 4, yon, and something that's like sh, and like it's similar to like a word that I think with that translation is like death, which is something that is like bad fortune. And yeah, that's like with similar with Chinese, that like something with 4 and like the word like death has a similar pronunciation. And sometimes that, I don't think it's really bad, like it's bad with Japan, but sometimes depending with context of, they use the 2 words that, like sometimes with context what they do, because I've been learning a bit of Japanese, and usually they're using like yon, Y-O-N, for 4, like with telling the time, like it's 4 o'clock, like yonji, 4 o'clock. Yeah, like very similar if you look at some buildings that instead of it being labeled 4, it's 5, so that try to keep bad luck away. And sometimes with that superstition is that they try to not do anything that's like a big celebration on anything that has a 4. So like nothing that's on April 4th, 14th, or 24th, because then you might have like some bad luck if you're doing something big like a wedding, the birth of a baby, or you got like a promotion, or you're moving into a new house. Don't do anything of that, like that's a big celebration on a day that's 4, because there could be bad fortune or like something that's like bad luck that can happen on that day. But like a better chance that you can have would be on a day that's the 8th. So like probably your best of luck would be August 8th, 18th, and 28th. That's where you can have a double chance, like a better chance of luck. But yeah, just anything that's with a 4. Like April, all of April is probably out of the bag too, because not a good month for that. But if it's a different month, but like anything that has 4, like March 4th, don't do anything big. March 8th, you can do. But yeah, just show that there's some stuff with that with the superstition and better chance for like cats as good luck no matter what. Like they're as good luck nickels. But I know that in America there's like the stigma of black cats as bad luck because being associated with witches. Life and death. Oh, crumbs. Oh, that is something that... Oh, Lilia. That seems like something, or at least with him saying, oh, crumbs is the PG-13 version. Neil and Silver are stumbled upon. Same with the Spectral Realm. And of course, right now my cat is crawling up across me. Trying to find a good spot to have some attention. You old man. Yeah, I still can't believe that you are now like 10. Oh yeah, like in September, you'll be 11. And you are an old cat. Not having it. So for like survival is you have to see what's suited fit for survival, no matter the situation. Wow, yeah, like a mad scientist is now.
すぐに終わらせてやる。
遊んでやろう。
見てろよ。世話が焼けるんだぞくらい。
覚悟しろ。
よかろう。
分かった。
無理は禁物じゃ。
情けねえ面すんな。
くらい。
どうじゃ。
しんどいな。
見くびるなよ、愚か者め。
ご用心ご用心。
遊んでやろう。
少しムカムカするかも。何か忘れてないかな。
やってやろうじゃん。
無理は禁物じゃ。
どうだい。逃がさないで。
おっと、おや。承知した。
いいよ。
どうじゃ。
怖い怖い。
おっと、落ち着いて。
さあどうかな。
やってみる
やってやろうじゃん。
ほら
さあ
行くよ。ワクワクするな。
思い知る。
ほいっと。
楽しそうだな。
そうする。
贈り物を授ける。
大丈夫。
元気がないな。
そら
いい汗かいたよ。いい
さあ始めよう遊んでやろう。
わかった。
サービス。
おねぼうだ。
ここか
エペルシできれば手助けを。
もちろんですイデアさん。
気分は乗らないけどね。
面白い。
はいはい。さあ
どうする？
おっとどうじゃ。
かな任せとけって。
いいだろう。
逃がさないな。
怖い怖い。
な。まさ
さあどうかな。面白い。
少しムカムカするかも。
さあどうかな。よし。
わかっ
そうする。
た。贈り物を授ける。
大丈夫。
行くよ。
元気がないな。
そら
ほら。
いい汗かいたよ。
さあ始めよ
力と牙以外にも戦う術はある。わかった。贈り物を授け
行く
よう。
よ。
おやおや。
う。
あっち行ってくれ。
楽しそう。
面白い。
贈り物を授けよう。元気がないな。
見くびるなよ愚か者め。
Very troublesome. Oh dear, what could have possibly gone wrong with these three? Ace, a freshman, Floyd, a second year, and Leona, a third year. What could go wrong? But yeah, looks like they have to now be collecting these meter pieces to then go to the boss and find the missing students. Since this whole soiree. Oh, a ghost! Oh! Huh? What? Oh no, Ace! Ah! What happened? Those two avoided. What about Ace? Acey, no! No! Neon sign. So obvious, but not to Ace. Or just surprised. Oh, Ace, what happened? Uh-oh, I think he got possessed by that ghost. Oh no. Yep, he's picking a fight with Floyd and Leona. Ugh, the ghost. He picked the wrong body to possess. Oh dear. And like knowing that with Ace and Floyd in the basketball club, Floyd would still whoop Ace's butt. And then what will we go with? Spell Drive and then just Leona in general? Ugh. Man. That's gonna be like a hard wake up for Ace when that ghost loser like is shot out. Yep, you're in for a real beating. Pretty crappy. Floyd always has these names for everyone that's fish related. a jest. Yeah, he's now feeling sorry for himself. That ghost. Uh-oh. Poor Ace. Jeez, why is it hurt? Yeah, the aftermath of getting out of a possession. It's gonna hurt. Especially when you're put through the ringer. He's so pleased with what he said. Is that how this Halloween ever gonna end? I'm with you, dude. Ace, I'm with you. But cool thing with the event flashbacks can go back or here, but the unfortunate thing is that you can't do the interaction with the map. You can see it, but you can't really see where you are when you were in the actual event of the map. You can see right there on the feature of the locations under the coffin that has the featured cards. So yeah, I think with when I was planning with how like big these events would be, just do like a section each for the recordings until the event flashback is over. That way I can kind of even it out. Yeah, with the design of the characters. I know I've mentioned, but
マジフトで他の寮に挑まれる
character design is just cool.
もちろん丁寧にもてなしているはず
Yeah, I think just right now I'm getting close to concluding with this recording. Hopefully with what I'm doing right now with just actual recording thing that some of the sections is split
海
in
賊
between
の
and
恐ろしさ
be enough for this one. And probably just some places where there's like
ガキの
gaps,
頃
we'll edit
は毎
that
年シーツをか
to
けて
kind of
ゴーストの仮装ってことにしてた家族でお祝いなんて面倒だからな
yeah. Let's just hope that with
ジ
doing
ェイド
recording
み
the
たい
first time
に
we'll
常に笑ってるやつ
do
は信
well
用
and I
な
can do this with
俺みたい
future
なやつの方が
videos.
誠実だったりするんだぜ
Bye everyone!